Hello, everyone. Welcome to a surprise stream.
Surprise!
Surprise.
Surprise.
What are we looking at
I
today?
didn't know. I didn't know. What are we watching? War Table. What's that?
It's something to do with Avengers. There is the new Avengers game coming out. We saw a little bit of it over at E3 last year. There's also some gameplay footage and stuff that went live recently to the public, which I think was a lot of the stuff that we saw over at E3 as well. So we'll be seeing what all they have for this here. I think it's going on for about a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too certain, but we're going to be checking it out, seeing our thoughts on it. Most of what I saw before looked pretty good, right? I didn't have any major problems with what I saw, but I didn't get to actually play it yet or anything either to see how it feels or if it's just what they're showing us. But
I was pretty excited by the voice acting crew, though.
true, yeah, there's some good voice actors in there. Let's see, what was there, like Troy Baker? Dang it, there's two people from the Critical Role squad, and I can't think of their names.
I can't think of their names either.
The big dude, and then the one girl. But there's some pretty good voice actors. Nolan North, wasn't he in one too? Troy Baker and Nolan North?
And Nolan.
Nolan North is Iron Man, isn't he?
That might have been. And then Troy
It's
Baker
Tony.
was like Bruce Banner?
Something like that. But let's see. Last E3, we actually got a behind closed doors look at this game before the general public did, and I was pretty impressed by what we had seen. It seemed like it was more of like a at the very beginning of the game mission. But I'm curious to see how the whole game will play. But it seems interesting.
No, it did. They had a very, and I think everyone saw it by now too, because I think it was the same gameplay we saw that went live. Was 4 heroes rotating through. Like you saw someone playing as Iron Man a little bit, and then Thor's a little bit, and it was like Black Widow taking on Taskmaster and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
But you seem to be fighting by yourself, right? Unlike Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Well, they said there was some co-op options, I believe.
But I mean, like, in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, even if you're playing one player, you still have 3 other like characters there with you all the time.
Yeah, but this also, I don't know. I'm not sure how to play out, because this could have been like a tutorial kind of area to really get someone through. Because that was like what they call it, A Day or something like that. Like it was like a terrible event that really sets the course of where the game's going, and there's lots of characters you can unlock and play as and all that stuff too. So I'm excited for like all the characters you can be. However, multiplayer works with it, and maybe the war table here that we're gonna have will be maybe a lot of information.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
some really good gameplay.
in terms of like the character design and stuff, they're trying to stay away from MCU necessarily, but then a lot of people were like, but that's what we like and that's what we want. So they've kind of like moved things a little bit closer, but still far away. Like I just recently got the Marvel Legends 6-inch figure of Captain America from this game. They've already put it out. And it's different. He's like bulky and older, I would say, maybe. I don't know. But like the armor itself just seems like more like heavy duty trooper than what you see like in the MCU, I feel like.
Like a more leathery kind of look.
Yeah, like more like it's like you have like the regular trooper that you fight in most games, and then there's like a heavy that it's like, oh man, this guy takes a lot more damage. He looks like that. So I don't know how much exactly will change on the other stuff, but they were trying to go with a more, I don't know, it feels like more like their own style on the classic Avengers. So we'll see how what that looks like here.
I'm interested to see, because if there will be a lot of characters, like it's hard to weave a cohesive, dramatic story in if you're playing as like a bunch of characters rather than just one or a few. So I wonder if like story will be a main focus, or if it will be more like gameplay and just the fact that you're having fun being all these superheroes. How different will the heroes be? How different will they play?
Yeah, how well defined will each like power set be, in terms of controls as well, right? Because I mean, if you have a lot of them, then how much time was spent on each of those, and how does
Ant-Man fight compared to Hulk?
Yeah, like do you have different? Can you take the same level with different characters? Because the way that Iron Man is going to tackle something is going to be way different than like the Hulk, Yeah. So,
and do they bother explaining the power disparity between heroes, like Injustice style, or do they just let it ride?
You mean as opposed to like
Well,
Hulk
if
to Black Widow or something like that?
Yeah, if you have Black Widow and you have the Hulk, like they can probably handle different levels of threats,
Yeah.
or they have to handle them in much different ways.
I get you. I don't know. It depends on what they do. Like I said, I haven't seen too much except for what I saw from last E3. I know there's been little bits here and there, but I haven't been keeping up with all of it. So there may be a few things that they've announced that I haven't seen. Like, I don't know if they've announced the entire like roster of who's going to be available to play as. You know, I don't think they have.
If they're playing it smart too, they're going to have DLC or something where you can get different characters later. You know.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Who are so other than like the big characters that we know are in it? Who would you like really want? Like, I wish they play as this character.
Spider-Man.
We have a Spider-Man game.
So
My favorite to play in any game that has any Marvel has always been Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I love Nightcrawler.
did we get any X-Men or anything? Like Wolverine was involved in Avengers stuff a little bit, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
is that something that we get in this, or is that an X-Men thing, and we're not going to be diving into that, and we're going to see more Avengers? You know what I mean? I don't know, because there's so many people that have been in the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's like the NWO.
I guess so, Rick.
The
Maybe.
what?
Wait, is that the red or the white?
Let's see. Hero-wise, if someone I mean,
Doctor Strange doesn't get a whole lot of love in terms of video games.
No,
Strange
that's
he would be
true.
hard to make video games for. But
Would
he's
he?
been in like the Ultimate Alliances and stuff.
But they would be great.
I mean,
Like, what was that? Oh, shoot. It wasn't. Was it Ratchet and Clank with the portals and stuff?
yeah, the riffs.
yeah.
Yeah. Like something like that would be a blast.
Yeah, but you gotta stop and do this and then go through. And...
I feel like the closest game we've gotten to a Doctor Strange game was DMC. Because in that, like, reality was always like twisting and turning and things.
Character-wise, for me, like it would be cool to have, like, I haven't really seen Venom much. It'd be cool if he was like either, I don't know if he was a villain, but then maybe turned like protagonist-y kind of thing. Like Venom's done that kind of stuff before. Hawkeye would be cool just because I like bows and arrows.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do some cool
He's
stuff with
he's
that.
an interesting character.
So, but as far as weird characters, I don't know if would be in it. Like, I'm trying to think of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They have so many people. But like, when do you put in Fantastic Four in there? But do they fit into the Avengers? You know,
Sure.
there's Fantastic Four would be cool. Ghost Rider would be cool.
Yeah.
X-Men would be cool. But do they fit into the Avengers, or are they going for an entirely different thing? And you're going to see more of like what we have from the movies and those characters. Like, so you have Captain Marvel, and you have Ant-Man, and you have, that kind of stuff. If I could pick anybody, I want Spider-Man, Venom in it.
All right, you get to fight any villain. Go.
Any villain.
MODOK.
Damn, I was going to say MODOK.
He knew you before you even knew
Who's that
yourself.
floating little guy, his head floating around in his chair.
Isn't he a bit like? Oh shoot, Eggman.
Robotnik.
Yeah, Robotnik. Isn't he just a bit like Robotnik in that way?
I don't know.
Or is he literally just like a Geodude, like a head with arms?
He's just a giant head with a little body on a chair floating around. I don't really know what he is. I've seen him in like the Lego games and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't even know whose villain he is. Whose villain is he? Anyone,
MODOK?
I think he's
don't know.
Fantastic Four.
is he a Fantastic Four villain?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I've seen him from stuff. He looks cool.
Yeah.
I want to know more about him, so that's why I pick him.
I want
Yeah.
Doctor Doom with the Infinity Gauntlet.
What?
Well, we need to be able to beat the game. Doctor Doom without the Infinity Gauntlet is hard.
Yeah.
He's an Iron Man villain, is what a lot of people say. They name off all kinds of stuff. That's the thing. A lot of villains just they're everywhere. Like you can take one villain and toss them into all kinds of stuff, especially if they're just a powerful villain in some way or fashion. You know. You don't usually get the Lizard usually fights Spider-Man. You don't see the Lizard fighting Iron Man.
Sure.
At least I haven't. He probably has at some point, I guess.
There's a lot of good like Avengers villains that we haven't seen represented in the movies.
It's true.
I think the first one was Namor.
Namor. Yeah.
Yeah, Namor.
Kind of like Marvel's Aquaman. And he can go a little. He can be villain. He can be hero.
I thought he was a hero.
He could be.
He's a
I think he's
hero.
originally introduced as a villain. I think.
Really?
And then there's Kang the Conqueror. There's, what's his name? Korzak?
The the movies never really had Mandarin. Mandarin's
Not
kinda
really,
cool.
no.
Well, they kind of did in the one shot.
They didn't have him. He wasn't there.
Yeah, but they talked about him. He's the reason it happened.
Yeah, but what? There's nothing there. We're probably never gonna get that now. You know.
I get you. No, I think that Mandarin might appear in the new martial arts hero. What's his name? I mean, you know we're 10 years into the MCU when they start doing. I don't know who that character is. You know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Shang-Chi?
it's like that. Yeah, I'm like, that's not Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Dude, I want Carnage. Carnage is such a crazy villain. Maximum Carnage, the game, the beat 'em up.
Yeah,
comic
Woody
book
Harrelson.
series.
Woody Harrelson.
Guess.
You're so excited.
Super Skrull says Super Skrull Skywalker. I don't think that's a. I don't think he's biased. I don't know a lot about Super Skrull. They touch on the Skrulls in
Yeah.
Captain
Super
Marvel.
Skrull is just a Skrull that has the power of the Fantastic Four.
All of them?
Yeah.
He can turn invisible and be on fire? Wouldn't that be a little
And be
bit...
stone and stretch.
Oh, man. Imagine,
How can
like,
he stretch his rock? But he's at to alternate.
He's
I think he can-
invisible, but
he can
his-
change. He can do it.
imagine
his
a
fire
world
invisible?
where fire was invisible. Wouldn't that be the worst world?
That's a
There-
real
That's
thing.
awful.
it is a real thing. There's some chemicals that they burn at a temperature where you can't see the flame.
Yeah, there's some kind of video you can check out. I think it's a race car driver. He comes out of his car and he's like, running around. And it's not Talladega Nights. It's an actual thing that happened. But no, like he was on fire. It was just invisible. So yeah, he can be. I think he can be invisible, and he'd probably still be hot. I don't know if he can hide the heat.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his attraction.
Well, that's like the worst part of it. Like, you're just sitting in your house. It's like, man, it's getting hot in here. I go over, check the air conditioning. Yeah, it's on. But man, it's getting hot. And all of a
Right.
sudden, your eyebrows are gone,
Exactly.
and your skin just starts boiling. Like, oh, God. Run
Now,
away.
if you're Super Skrull and you're invisible and you have flame on, and the fire is invisible, and you burn something,
Is the
that
burn
new
invisible?
fire? Is that invisible?
Or if it's disconnected from you, it's not, right?
I think it's disconnected from you. It should be
Yeah.
visible.
Sure.
Well, because like if you light something on fire, and then you turn off your fire, that's still on fire, right? Right. So it's got to follow the same logic, in my opinion.
Logic is how we get to the bottom of this.
That's how it works. So
So if I have a superpower,
no, I keep on going through like heroes, trying to think now of like different things I'd want to have. Now I think about Spider-Man. You know what? I want that Spider-Man. He can join this game. Have that same one join the Avengers. And then that's why Miles has to protect the city, because Spider-Man's busy helping the Avengers with serious shit. Yeah, there you
Maybe.
go.
I suppose that could be it.
Logic.
Nope. Different game studios.
Time together, make a video game universe. It'd be great. I'd love it.
Dip says, I want to play the Squirrel Girl.
And remember, we are sponsored for this stream by Manscaped, and you can check out the code down there using the code we're blind with at the Manscaped store. You get 20% off and free shipping. Check out our ads. We've had a lot of fun filming the promos. We're about ready to get started with Avengers here.
Why am I always the one behind? I share everything here. You guys take it. Why aren't you
last time
20
you were
seconds
in
behind?
time with me.
All right, let's go. Let's see it.
Rated T for T.
Did you just go to Pokemon there?
When
Yeah.
I was young, I found an orphan
Seems quiet
wolf
for me.
cub in the
It's
forest
very
behind
quiet.
our farm. I felt if I could instill rules, the proper boundaries, I could harness the raw power of that beast.
Ooh.
A few months later, while hunting, the adolescent cub turned on me. We're fixing the damage the Avengers did all those years ago.
Inhumans.
are sick. Unlimited power, that's dangerous. It's lethal. You are
Oh,
lucky
dang.
to be alive.
These superheroes are ninjas.
Come on, Kamala.
Oh,
Let
shit.
AIM help you.
I'll take my chances.
The leader.
What if the Avengers were set up? I think you should see for yourself. Could Mr. Stark help us with this?
Hi, I'm sorry. Who are you?
Kamala?
This better be good.
He totally locked Cap in the reactor room and then he tried to jack the Chimera.
Son of a...
You all completely lost your senses.
Where were you while the world went to hell?
This is our fault. All of ours. You really think the world is better without us? Yes. See, it's always been your problem. Running from who you are.
Thor had their aim tag.
I'm warning you.
This is exactly what Tarleton wants!
Well, that was quick.
Oh.
You struggle against the unstoppable
That was fucking sweet.
progress, Avengers.
Aim. Okay. That abomination.
Yeah, it looked like.
Be controlled. It has to be destroyed.
Whoa!
I will rid the Earth of superpowers. Even if it has to end
Hey,
me.
it's MODOK.
I think it was MODOK.
That's MODOK.
It's just got a whole lot weirder.
Sweet.
Okay. Cool.
Is audio okay for everyone else? I'm gonna. Not
Yeah,
Pretty quiet, Aaron.
What's
Yeah,
up,
I'm gonna
Marvel
try to turn
fans?
up my-
My name's Casey Lynch, and I'm
I had to
editorial
crank mine
director
a
at
good
Crystal Dynamics. Marvel's Avengers War Table is your direct source for all things Marvel's
I'll let you turn it
Avengers.
down there if you need
We've got
to.
a great show lined up with new
better?
trailers, new details
Yeah.
on one of our main villains, MODOK, and advanced idea mechanics. And we'll take a first look
Oh,
at
okay.
co-op and war zones. If you've ever thought, what is this game?
What
How
is
does
this
it work?
game?
Then this
So I
is
don't
the
watch
show
Avengers
for
War
you.
Table.
Let's get
is
into
this
it.
game?
Starting with the story trailer. In the aftermath of A-Day, everything changed.
You so-called heroes transformed San Francisco into an infectious, gas-filled quarantine zone.
Money!
You unleashed diseased, powerful beings that wreak havoc throughout our nation. So I ask you again, Dr. Banner, do the Avengers pose a danger to society?
Yes.
I can promise you this. I will use this second chance to make you safe. AIM will find a cure for the inhuman disease.
We aim to please.
And so they created Inhumans, huh?
As a founding member of tech giant Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM, George Tarleton dreamt of a world made better through science. But even as AIM promises a cure to end the inhuman infection, and the revolutionary Adaptoid project
Adaptoid.
offers a world protected by science, Tarleton, a victim of A-Day himself, uses AIM's technological might and the public's fear of Inhumans
That
to
was some
convince the world
Terrigenesis.
that the superpowered are uncontrollable
Yeah.
and cannot be trusted. His deranged obsession drives him to become MODOK, mental organism
I
designed
love
only for killing.
Story
When
sounds a lot
choosing a
like
villain,
the
we knew we
recent
needed someone who had the muscle
Deus
and
Ex
mental
games.
capacity to become an Avengers-level threat. We also wanted a new face for
Okay.
modern Avengers fans.
That's quite a face, yeah.
Big face.
It's pretty horrible.
But comic fans know MODOK is anything but new. His origin in Marvel lore dates back more than 50 years to October of
Dang,
they went
1967. in
MODOK
Tales
for
of
their big
Suspense.
bad. That's pretty
Now,
crazy.
with AIM's drive to manipulate public fear and his ability to control machines with his mind, Tarleton and AIM are the most sophisticated threat the Avengers have ever faced. But a teenage fangirl named Kamala Khan doesn't trust AIM. In fact, she's convinced that AIM is experimenting on her fellow Inhumans under the guise of finding a cure. And she believes George Tarleton was behind the plot to discredit the Avengers. And she has proof.
I saw Captain Marvel
As you
behind
pick
it.
up
That
the
was cool.
trail of
Shit,
the long
Captain
disbanded
Marvel poster.
Avengers, you'll advance the story of the single-player campaign, unlocking more and more hero-specific missions.
Heroes.
We know you've been
Okay.
asking for new gameplay that's not from A-Day. We hear you. So here's a playthrough of part of
okay.
a new Thor hero mission called
Always
Once
an Avenger.
Once an Avenger.
Always an Avenger.
Captured directly. Okay.
here live at the AIM experience in Manhattan, witnessing the return of the Avengers, but they appear to be attacking the city.
Donald Blake.
Oh my gosh. There it is.
That's cool.
He's left his hammer there.
Yeah.
Any
That
coincidence that
Cap's
this attack
memorial.
comes on the very day that AIM is supposed to unveil their promising new Adaptoid program? Oh.
You're welcome.
The voice is good.
Oh man.
No, it's great. I think it's Travis. He's really good with it.
Thank you.
You should know, I'm not in the best of moods.
Is he supposed to look like Chris Hemsworth?
He's supposed to look like Thor.
I think he
Chris
looks
Hemsworth
like Thor.
looks like Thor.
Wait, is that Thor?
Holy crap, Thor! Where the hell did you come from?
I was serving the commoners when it started raining bolts of metal from the skies.
That is unbelievable.
Oh, the flight power is cool.
Yeah.
Dramatic, don't you think?
It doesn't matter. He's here now.
Nice.
So the false god returns. Why? You did what you were supposed to do.
The combat looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You gave up your power. You should have stayed forgotten.
Never, when mortals are in peril.
Did he target the gun?
Doctor, can you not face me?
Yeah.
Look around. I'm everywhere.
It's anything. There's like no HUD or anything.
Yeah.
Camera's doing a good job of showing everything.
What are these things? They're drilling into the deck.
While it's still kind of like stylized and like Dutch behind them. Animations look good.
The sound of the hammer is really good.
Yeah.
I don't really feel the weight of it in the gameplay though.
I feel the
You
weight.
feel
there.
the weight now?
Just like old times.
AIM dropships inbound.
I see them.
Focus on those men.
So those are the adapto
Yeah.
morphs or whatever they're called.
Kamala, you okay? Yeah.
Oh,
On my way.
I love the lightning.
Got this?
I like seeing Hulk just back there just fucking shit up.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Uh-oh.
Huh.
Dare I ask who this
I
child?
wonder what the red and yellow arrows are for.
Explain later. Don't worry. She's
Whoa.
up to it.
Just shocked that guy.
Chimera's still losing altitude. Thor, can you hold it up with wind?
Tear the ship apart.
It's super cool. Just having two heroes just fucking shit up.
Oh,
Is that like
cool.
a
I
combo
that.
attack?
I guess, yeah.
I think that's just the scripted finisher.
It might
Maybe.
be. Yeah, it might
Maybe.
be that.
You killed Captain America, Thor. Who else will fall before your hammer?
Silence!
The transit speed on that turret on the drill is crazy.
Ooh, is he getting frozen? Using like inhuman powers in these robots?
Yeah, they're adapting.
Yeah.
Like the Borg?
Well, yeah, I think they're supposed to. They're like a police force for all Inhumans and mutants and everything. So they have to be able to adapt to powers that they might not know exist yet, right?
So if there isn't a HUD, like, is there damage on the model itself? Like, will his clothes get torn?
It might do what a lot of them do, where you start getting like a red thing around you, and
Red
maybe
jelly.
you gotta rest, you know, and
Yeah.
take cover.
Sturdy, I'll give them that.
Oh, it's like Iron Man 1.
We're the terrorists in this AIM experience story.
Not on my watch. The Chimera can't go down. Not
Again. Is that the one that was sunk in the bay?
I don't think it's the same shit, but I think they're just referencing the A-Day event. I love the hammer spin thing. Like when he's attacking with it.
Got my hands
Yeah.
full, kid.
It looks really good.
Nice. Security subsystems just came back online. It's working.
Can you enable lockdown?
Already working on it.
I wonder how much control you have as Thor, or if you're just kind of just pressing buttons, you know?
I mean, it looks kind of like Arkham-ish combat, except with flight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something different with the hammer, I know, because like there, and also before, he threw a hammer, stuck a guy to a wall, and then left him there while he fought, and then summoned the hammer back to him. So there's some things you can do.
Yeah, like right there, he threw his hammer and then like made lightning rain down on it, like a ranged AoE attack.
Guys, the Chimera can't take much more of this. They did a lot of damage down the engine.
I definitely like the emphasis of lightning in his moveset.
Yeah.
Wonder if because he has lightning, does he do more damage to the robots?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Not if they adapt to it.
How original. You gonna steal my haircut next?
The damage has already been done, Avengers.
Just go underneath. Oh, cool.
Open the Bifrost. Oh,
Yep.
he's teleporting in.
That was awesome.
Nice.
Thank you, Heimdall.
Kamala, Tony, we're trying to restart the engine.
I love
but
his
there's
just
not
like
enough power.
plain clothes.
We're out of time, people.
Look.
Brace for impact.
He's still wearing his "Hello, my name is" tag. It's great.
I wonder if this Thor is actually inside the body of Donald Blake, or if he's more like the MCU one. That's crazy.
His name
He's
tag
like
says
giving
D
power
Blake.
to try to pull it up.
Is that quick time event? You gotta mash.
Well, they didn't crash and destroy everything.
That looked fun.
Once an Avenger is a great example of a hero mission, a single-player campaign experience focusing on a specific playable character. Hero missions give us a chance to tell more of each hero's story and showcase the variety and depth of our hero designs. Let's take a quick look at how Thor plays.
Yes, let's
With
do.
the game's combat systems, players can string together combos of heavy and light attacks, or hold for signature attacks. Combat versatility is one of Thor's strengths, from making use of Mjolnir
there's the
to
HUD
pin
now.
enemies from a distance, or bringing the sky down on his foes. In addition to core combat moves, the God of Thunder has a wide variety of skills
Skill
to unlock
trees.
that give him access to classic moves. This is one of our favorites, manual targeting. We largely drew our influence from writer Jason Aaron's run on the Mighty Thor comic. Manual targeting allows you to quickly mark your enemies for bullseyes with Mjolnir.
That's cool.
And one by one, you can mark them and knock them down as Mjolnir comes back to you. Follow that up with a powerful ground pound, and
Pretty
you've
cool.
got a mighty
Yeah, it
combo.
looks fun.
Manual targeting is a great ranged attack, but if up close and personal is more your style, go with the hammer spin or Mjolnir Cyclone.
Sweet.
It's really cool.
Heroes have three special heroic moves: Assault, Ultimate,
Jeez.
They just splattered.
Yeah.
When designing our heroics, we started with the signature moves from the comics and movies that we've always wanted to play. The Assault heroic charges the fastest, and in some cases, you can store multiple charges to use strategically as a part of your combo.
shit.
You can perform these after charging your heroic meters with normal
Her hands get
attacks.
so
Oh,
big.
look at his
For
outfit.
instance, Natasha's
It's like Ragnarok.
Assault heroic is Widow's Bite, which is an electroshock projectile move you might recognize. You can see Nat using it right here.
Whoa.
Each hero also has a unique support heroic that's designed to enhance co-op and team play. For example, Thor's support, Warrior's Fury, lets him channel the power of the gods to supercharge his Odin force and grants a period of
That's cool.
invulnerability for nearby team members. You can see this in action when Iron Man gets the buff as he flies through Thor's support.
Sweet.
Okay.
Ultimates take longer to charge, but they're definitely worth the wait. They have more screen clearing power, and some even have residual effects, like
That's
Thor's
so
Bifrost
fucking cool.
Ultimate.
Oh, so he gets like an
Thor's
electric
ultimate heroic
ability.
channels the power of the 9 realms, and his Bifrost taps into Muspelheim to bypass unbreakable shields, allowing Thor to use the power of the Bifrost Bridge to do maximum damage. We know everyone plays differently, so we have melee, ranged, aerial, and ground combat skills to tailor your hero to your playstyle. As your heroes earn experience, they
Hammerhead.
gain access to new skills. Skill points allow you to unlock new moves,
wanna
combos,
just
and
fuck up
even
this
new
Hulk.
versions of attacks.
Yeah,
Right.
that just looks like a lot
As you
of fun.
build up your heroes, you begin to see how unlocking and mastering the separate core skills offers a ton of depth and variety on its own for every hero. And that's before gear, perks, artifacts, and any kind of later game progression.
Okay.
So why is all of this
You have different
important?
gear loadouts
Because
and
it means
everything,
your
too.
Thor
Yeah.
will play differently than my Thor, and my Hulk will play different than yours. Another way to customize your heroes is with gear. We've previously talked about the different rarities and how perks will give you powerful modifiers for even more customization. Some perks apply special damage like plasma or gamma, or cause status effects like shrink, which will shrink enemies and reduce damage and defense. You can see Iron Man using gamma gear in this shot, and eagle-eyed fans
is it
probably
green?
noticed his
Yeah.
laser sweep
Yeah.
was green instead of red. Nope, that wasn't a bug. When you have gamma gear equipped, it grants a bonus damage modifier and changes the emissive color of your attack. And voila, green lasers.
Cool.
We know that if you look good, you'll play good. The Crystal team has really enjoyed creating all new outfits for these heroes and drawing from Marvel's 80-year history to
Yeah, we
bring
already
so
saw
many
the Planet
classic
Hulk
outfits to the
version.
game.
Yep.
Each hero has dozens of
that was cool.
outfits drawn from
Oh, nice.
Oh, I want the
and
game now.
story
Oh,
arcs.
look at that Hulk.
You can earn them over the course of the story campaign by completing missions and deciphering patterns. There's Iron Man's suit from the 2014 Original Sin storyline, or Donald Blake, which is a nod to an alias of Thor's who first appeared in 1962's Journey into Mystery issue 83, or Tony's Stark Tech outfit that was inspired by the Bleeding Edge armor that first appeared in Invincible Iron Man number 25 in 2010. While there are a ton of outfits you'll earn just by playing, some will require completing iconic mission chains to earn each hero's iconic outfit, and some outfits will only be available in our online marketplace. You can even customize your attitude and let out your inner Hulk
that's so cool.
with the right emote. I don't think that's canon. Those are just some of the ways you'll be able to build and spec out your heroes. Okay, I think it's time for another trailer. This one gives us a first look at how all that customization is especially fun when you play together. This is Co-op and War Zones.
I can't believe it. AIM is firing on the Air Force.
These adaptoids of his, they harvest their powers through the torture of these Inhumans. Georgie Boy is gearing up for war.
Programmable power under our control. No more heroes.
The entire world is in terrible danger. Time is here.
I could pull some strings to spruce up the armory. Get ourselves some new toys to play with. Dangerous ones.
I'm picking up something in the atmosphere. A derivative of Terrigen.
Whoa.
Cool.
I'm here. Who needs their ass kicked?
I like that.
Terrigen in the atmosphere.
And reach of dark magic.
Nah, I love Ms. Marvel. She looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh, she gets guns.
We gotta get this bird out of here before AIM comes looking for us.
Jarvis is unencrypting the schematics,
Jarvis.
and we'll get our tech heads on new gear.
Is this the co-op trailer?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Did you not see?
Co-op
look-
and
look at 'em all.
Warzone.
Yeah, co-op and Warzone is what they said.
Look at all this. Which nation state is AIM planning to go to war with?
Heroes are people, and people can be corrupted.
Goodies.
If I don't stop them, it's just one more thing to regret on my deathbed.
Fury.
Whoa.
Ooh. You didn't recognize the voice. Wasn't Samuel L. Jackson.
You want to see powers? Here we go.
Time for heroes is over.
You don't get to decide.
Whoa.
Whoa, that axe kick.
Hey, Hulkbuster.
Is that his ultimate, I wonder?
So far, we've talked about the story, hero missions, and customization. Now, let's talk about war zones. War zones are missions which you can play with up to a total of 4 players or solo with an AI companion team made up of your unlocked and leveled heroes. Whether playing hero missions or war zones, you always make forward progress with your heroes. On your helicarrier, you'll use the war table to launch missions with a variety of objectives and challenges. As you saw in the co-op trailer, each mission is grounded in story, so whether you're in the campaign or war zones, you're always working together to stop AIM and rebuild the resistance. You get missions from Jarvis, Maria Hill, Hank Pym, and more characters from Marvel history. Once you pick your mission, you'll board the Quinjet, where you can matchmake, switch heroes, choose your loadout, and of course, pick the right look and attitude for the job. As you start playing missions across the globe, you'll realize AIM has entrenched themselves in cities and remote locations alike, all in the name of research. War zones range from wide open spaces designed for exploration and team traversal to dense interiors with a variety of objective-based challenges, boss fights, and rewards. Here's a mission we saw in the co-op trailer called To Tame a Titan, where we can see some team play. There's this cool shot of Iron Man, but you may have missed Kamala and Hulk performing a team finisher on that poor guy back there. When you max out some larger enemies' stun meter, 2 heroes can come together to perform a team finisher, which gives you a chance to take them down much faster. Teamwork makes the dream work. Living the hero life is all about growth, getting stronger and better equipped to play smarter, and there are plenty of upgrades to help you do just that. As you progress through the campaign, you'll also be rebuilding and upgrading the Chimera, your helicarrier, which is your own flying base.
Okay,
the Resistance is a group who have banded together in the 5 years since A-Day. Some are inhuman and have powers. Some are former SHIELD agents who refuse to pledge allegiance to AIM, and some just want to help.
What is this place?
We call it the Anthill. Not my idea.
You'll join their cause in the field by working directly with factions like the Inhuman Alliance and SHIELD agents Dum Dum Dugan, Nick Fury, and more. Earning faction reputation will give you access to new challenges.
Hey Avengers, Hill has something she needs your help with.
New vendors and more powerful items.
Hi Roy.
There will always be new threats on the horizon, so you want to ensure your Avengers are ready for anything.
That's cool.
We've talked about a lot today, but that's kind of the point. This is a really big, ambitious game. Marvel's Avengers isn't just a global, high-stakes race to rebuild the Avengers, to save the Inhumans, and uncover the truth about AIM's plans. That's just the beginning. This is a brand new original Avengers single-player story that you can enjoy on your own, made the Crystal Dynamics way. But it's also an experience you can play with your friends that will grow as we add new heroes, new regions, and new story, all at no additional cost. Thank you for following us and believing in us. I want to give a big shout out to our community. Thank you for caring and telling us what you think. We're listening, and as fans ourselves, we're all working every day to make Marvel's Avengers worthy of your support. Please stick around after the show to ask questions and chat. On behalf of the whole Marvel's Avengers team, thank you for tuning in to the first Marvel's Avengers War Table. In the coming months, we'll talk about our first post-launch hero, our upcoming beta, and of course, our launch, when Marvel's Avengers arrives September 4th.
I'm glad they specified.
Yep.
I'm Casey Lynch.
September.
And I'll see you next time.
Not like April.
Alrighty. Not only was that a fun watch, it was probably the best in terms of like just showing things that I've seen in the last couple weeks of doing this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, well, here we're going to talk about this guy talking about making the game, but I felt like this was all about the game, you know?
True.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, they got in and everything was relevant and interesting. They got out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's still little things about the art style that I'm like, I don't know if I like that, but in terms of the gameplay, it just looks like a lot of fun, and I like the idea that you can just play this by yourself if you want to and just power through stuff.
Or you can do separate missions with friends.
Yeah, like initially, I guess I might have been a little disappointed that it was, oh man, it's just these 5 characters. I don't see, like maybe you play a mission with Cap, but I don't see him now,
Yeah.
Obviously, there's something that happened to him. He's dead or something. But they did say there at the end they will have more heroes later. So,
yep.
Post-release hero, they'll be talking about that later.
And free as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, they did mention microtransactions in the form of more, it seems like cosmetic stuff, the way you want to look and stuff. So at least that way you can play who you want to play, and it's not like, well, you'll do better if you buy stuff.
Yeah.
As long as they go the way of like, hey, if you want to look cooler, you can spend money and support us. I like that way much more. So
will it also? You think there'll be an element of like being able to have an in-game currency or unlocking those things if you wanted to as well, or is it merely like if you want these things, you have to buy them?
From the way it sounded, it's going to be like there's lots of options you can get by unlocking in-game, but there'll be some things that will be locked away. But they could change it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
The gameplay for me, it looks pretty good. A lot of it reminds me of like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance mixed with like Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has the gear aspect. You can do like 3-player co-op, I think, in Warframe.
Yeah.
Combat-wise, you have like melee or range and different stuff too. So, which Warframe is a pretty fun game. I know a lot of people that really love it. I played it a little bit before too. But I mean, most of it looks like something I'm interested in. I like the idea of my, Black Widow will handle differently than someone else's Black Widow. Like, if I want to use dual-wielding pistols, I can do that. But Calvin might want to use batons and beat someone with them,
Yeah, I mean, as I was watching, I was like, man, it does not look as exciting to play Black Widow as everybody else. But then there was a couple moments when they're like, oh, that looks cool. So, maybe it will be.
I know Rick's one thing was about, like, the power scaling of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be they had like hero missions they mentioned.
Yeah.
So you might have like that one when we watched Thor. I didn't see Black Widow running around doing stuff. It felt like she was like flying, trying to keep things alive from the inside or something like that.
Yeah, and there's also like co-op abilities as well. So like I wonder if maybe some characters will have more like debuff statuses and stuff that they can put on enemies instead of doing like direct damage themselves, and allowing other either AI teammates or like playable co-op teammates to be able to deal the damage.
You could do that, especially like in the Warzone scenario, something like that. It could work.
I didn't really understand the difference between the Warzone stuff and the story stuff. Is like the Warzone stuff just like repeatable arena style fights?
That's what I thought it was.
I think there's a difference between the co-op mission thing that pushes the story along, but then if you go through, there can be, and it might not be that they're repeatable. It might be that they rotate out, daily or something like that. Almost like like
daily
world
missions
quests.
could be cool.
In which case, maybe it's like, okay, well, Hank Pym has this one today. If you want to do this mission, you can do it in a co-op manner, and it will help gather more resources for you to build up your Chimera and your, shield agents and your whatever else you want to get. But the story element seemed to be more single player-y, I think. But you can co-op to help progress to get better, maybe. I'm not sure. But that story one there for Thor looked like that's a single player. You play as Thor, and that's how you do that one. But
yeah. And I think it did say for the war zones, you can bring your leveled characters that you've worked on your single player, like into that stuff. So
yeah,
it's a way of getting more gear maybe for them too, getting more levels and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the newest Ultimate Alliance game, and also a little of like Destiny and how the weapons work. And I'm sure some people are excited about that, but I am not a loot guy personally. Especially when it comes to action games, like I want my ability to be getting better and maybe unlock some skills and stuff, but I don't like when damage and stuff is determined by the equipment so much. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just like a personal preference.
Yeah, because I mean, you have the aspect of like your abilities get buffed through the trees they have, and you can choose how you want to do them. But there's still the idea of like as you get better loot for whatever character, it might be specific loot as well. So like if I choose a Black Widow to use guns, I'll probably find loot related to that versus getting batons that I don't want.
Sure.
But there's no guarantee on that either. I'm not sure.
But like in Arkham and Spider-Man, Devil May Cry, like stuff like that, you're not really upping your weapons other than giving them new abilities. Like, you know, Spider-Man gets gadgets, and you can make those gadgets do better, but you're not like finding new things that you're equipping.
True. How did Witcher play? Was it like that too, or was it different? 'Cause I haven't played Witcher. Because I imagine it has like an upgrading your abilities kind of thing too, but does it do a loot kind of way too, or?
It kind of does. I mean, RPGs I see as a little different. It, like The Witcher isn't as much of an action game as like the ones I've been talking about before. It's more of like an RPG with some action style combat.
Yeah, I mean the gameplay wise would be similar to like the action combat. The RPG element is the role playing, the story aspect of it. So I mean, gameplay wise, you have more action oriented, and you're still getting loot and doing stuff. Which I've had to deal with that a lot with like World of Warcraft. You know, getting loot, and I know it can be a grind sometimes when you want to get like that special purple loot or whatever. You know, and it takes a while to get to it, but I don't know. It at least gives you something too to like. Oh man, if I run this and we get high enough level, I'll get better loot, and I'll keep getting this, and hopefully I'll find this item that I want to get. So it gives you kind of a thing that you can get to achieve if you keep trying to find it. I don't know how hard it's going to be to get stuff you want, or how specific it's going to be, but you know, Warframe is and Destiny both kind of follow that, where it's like a loot system too, and I don't know. It gives you something to shoot for, I guess.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
I've max level and I have nothing else, you know?
Yeah. If you're into that kind of thing, it seems like that could be there for you, and if not, it's not going to be a detriment not doing it. You know, if you can just keep playing the game.
Yeah, I think that might be Rick's worry, is that it could be, based on what damage output you can do.
I mean, either it is vital and you need to do it, or it's irrelevant and then there's no point to it. Right?
Well, like we saw the gamma radiation thing that Iron Man got in, and then, you know, it's green now, you know? Like... Does it mean that you have to get that, or can you play the game and just, or you can do a different like style of Iron Man? Because they said missions, like one person's Iron Man will play completely different than another's, you know. So I think depending on the loot you get might help out with that as well. But each can.
I saw some of the missions definitely had like a power rating limit that you had to achieve above in order to play the mission.
Sure.
And the gear, as they were flipping through it, had different power ratings. So I think you have to have, it may not do more damage per se, like DPS wise, but it may be like an artificial like leveling system to make sure that you're keeping up with the villains and stuff. You know, instead of having the what are they called, the ones that adapt, the foot soldiers, basically. Instead of having those, you're going to have like the walking tank things with the 2 arm guns. And then after that, you have bigger guys and stuff like that. So I think that's just a way so that you can take down what would be the default villain for that level more quickly, so that you don't have to just grind.
Or it's not a struggle. I think Destiny and Warframe both have similar things where it's like, hey, your loot equals this kind of score, and WoW does too, where like your loot equals this score. We recommend you being this before being able to go into it or complete it. So there could be a bit of a grind for loot. So I understand there being an issue there, but it also can be a fun thing to do too.
Yeah.
They also had like power trees and stuff to unlock as well, so maybe there's something there with that.
Well, yeah. So you'll level up, you'll get your experience that way, and you'll that's when you'll choose how different my Iron Man is to yours, from how you spec your trees and everything, which I like that. I like having a lot of different options. That was one of my favorite things in the original World of Warcraft, pushed in trees, and you had 3 different trees that you could choose your specs into and work your way down, and you could really kind of alter how you wanted to play, whereas now it's just kind of like, well, once you hit these levels, you can pick one of these 3 abilities, and then you do that for like 8 times. So having a tree like that where you can be like, well, I want this, like even Spider-Man, Like you could choose where you wanted to put your power first to kind of alter how you played initially. Like someone might go more for web slinging stuff than for fisticuffs, you know? So I like that idea. But you're still going to be based on a loot system of like how strong maybe your damage is, how much health you have, and that kind of stuff too. Kind of coupled a little bit with like what level you are. So
yeah,
and you'll probably be unlocking new skills to use with Mjolnir, but how much damage it does will depend on what thing you have equipped.
That your level, you know, a lot of that stuff probably will go into it. I imagine there's going to be a leveling system, not just a tree system, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like some kind of balance to where if you're playing Thor as a ranged character that throws his hammer, like there's probably more AoE attacks that way. But if you're, you know, face to face swinging the hammer and stuff like that, it probably does a lot higher damage in one hit. But like you can swing around and hit multiple enemies.
Yeah. Now, as far as like gameplay goes and stuff like that, I like having like the two characters being able to kill something together thing, like those special kind of moments. Those are fun.
Yeah. The combo takedowns or whatever they're called.
I don't have any issue with like having like ultimate abilities that have to charge up after a while, and having like special assault abilities and stuff too. I mean, lots of games have done that. Marvel Ultimate Alliance does that kind of stuff too, where you got to wait till they charge up and you can do big hits. So all the gameplay mechanics of it and stuff, I feel like I like a good bit. Thor looks really cool, I thought, with like his hammer powers that he can do. I love the idea of being able to control Mjolnir in different fashions.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to throw it, you can just work on upping your melee game, which is really cool. So, but yeah, like Eric said too, I'm interested to see what they do hero-wise. Like, I haven't seen what the full list of heroes is going to be at launch, unless it's just those like 6 heroes we just saw, right?
I think it's just those 5 because Captain America doesn't seem to be playable.
6?
Maybe. Iron Man, Hulk. You had Camilla. You had Black Widow. Who else?
Thor.
And Thor. Is that just 5?
I swore in the one screen.
That's 5 there.
I thought there was one more that we're missing, but I don't know. Maybe not. So maybe
I was trying to think of like the big shots before the Iron Man Hulk fight started, like who all was in the room. I think it was just those 5, but I can't remember.
Okay, I'm just remembering this picture here, and it has a Captain America there. But I know you play as him in A-Day, but I don't know if he's available at all, if he's gone or what. So, so as of right now, we only saw them fighting with Thor, Black Widow, Hulk, Iron Man, and stuff.
So for the storyline, you can't play him all the way through the game, but for like co-op missions, maybe you can.
Probably not.
Kind of thing. No,
unless he, like, if he's dead, I don't know. If he's gone or missing, and you find him later on, then maybe you can.
Yeah.
But as far as like just having him in co-op, I think it'd be weird, considering that the idea of doing the co-op war zones is building up your Chimera and all your power bases and everything for the story and for your characters to be able to be stronger and stuff. So,
I'm sorry. Who's the girl on the left?
Miss Marvel.
Okay. They were calling her Kamala?
That's her real name.
That's her name.
Okay. It looked a little different than the Kamala I'm familiar with.
But no, she had a Captain Marvel poster in the back. I like that. That was cool.
Which I like that, and I like that. That shows that Captain Marvel must exist in this universe, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm curious, like, is that something that we can get later on? Are these just the ones you're seeing now, and they'll be like, hey, as you play the storyline, or they don't want to tell us that? Because I'm also fine with them being like, hey, we're not going to tell you that partway through. They mentioned Hank Pym, you know, but we're not going to tell you partway through you get to play as Ant-Man, partway through you get to find Captain Marvel, you know, like, that way there's still some surprises, because they went through a little bit of story stuff here with MODOK as the main villain here, which is cool. That's interesting. Like, usually you don't hear, oh, MODOK's going to be the big bad. Usually you get Dr. Doom, and
if you're trying to, like, you know, get an identity for the story of this, I mean, it's like, well, what's that one MODOK story? No one's gonna like have to like think about multiple ones. They're gonna think, oh, the Avengers game, you know. Yeah. So good on them.
So I think it's gonna be cool, and it's gonna bring. I mean, like they said, MODOK. The comic fans kind of are familiar with MODOK. Yeah, I think, you know, especially if you're just a movie Marvel fan.
Well,
like, you're not gonna know who he is.
He's been in all the Ultimate Alliance games too, right?
Oh yeah, I mean he's been
Yeah.
in that. He's been in the Lego Marvel games and stuff like that too. But I mean, if you're not a game player or you're more attached to the movies and stuff like that too, like this would be a different way of maybe finding MODOK and learning who he is or anything. Because this, while it's different, it also has like this weird balance between the movie versions of these heroes, but not the movie versions of these heroes. Like I know Rick was like, yeah, is he supposed to look like Chris Hemsworth? Like, no, I don't think he looks like Chris Hemsworth. But if you take this big, muscular, blonde Thor,
I think it looks like the voice actor more than it does Chris Hemsworth. Thinking his face.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, if I'm picturing Travis from Critical Role, I don't see his face there, but no, like I mean, those look like the characters from the comics, which they tried to replicate on the big screen. So I mean, you're gonna see some similarities. But I thought Bruce Banner himself kind of had like this mixture of like maybe like a Troy Baker, Mark Ruffalo-y kind of look, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. So far, I like the looks of them. I think they all character-wise looks good for me, and I love the way Ms. Marvel plays, with like the giant fists, just grabbing
that's
things.
pretty cool. It's very impressive when like she just grabs the arm off of one of those mechs and beats it to death with it.
So her powers are similar to Mr. Fantastic's?
I'm not exactly sure about her powers, but I mean,
it's just kind of what it looked like to me when she was playing.
I mean, Mr. Fantastic can stretch. It seems like she can grow.
Enlarge.
Yeah,
as well.
she definitely enlarges as well. Because there's one of her super moves and stuff. Like she makes her entire body bigger, and she's like 25 feet tall.
Yeah, I don't know exactly her power base. Melanie would be the one I would ask because she knows more about all of them because she enjoyed Captain Marvel, and there's this big thing between Ms. Marvel to Captain Marvel and all that stuff. And I would always call Captain Marvel Ms. Marvel, and she'd be like, "No." So
the chat says that she's closer to Luffy, so that means she's OP.
I don't know what a Luffy is, but okay.
He's from One Piece.
Monkey.
She's gained the ability to extend her limbs, alter her appearance, shapeshift, and several other manners.
Jeez.
Okay, I was just looking at some different stuff here. Maybe there'll be... Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, at least in terms of the gameplay, I could see like, yeah, that's some kind of fantastic, or Mr. Fantastic look to it. But I think they were emphasizing size control, at least in the gameplay. So, whereas Mr. Fantastic's more about tripping up and that kind of stuff.
So,
very cool.
Yeah, I overall I'm interested to see. We got until September till it comes out, and there's gonna be a few more of these Avenger War Table things coming in the future to kind of announce some new things. Beta being one of them, so be cool to get our hands on it and actually try out the game. Because so far all we've gotten to do is watch gameplay stuff so far. So
yeah.
But anyone have anything else?
No, it's probably more the kind of game that I would play with friends rather than solo.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much you can level with friends. Like they have like the Warzone things that are kind of like raids, I guess. Maybe you could level like that. But yeah, I'll check it out.
All right.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the game looks fun. The gameplay looks fun. The character models still look a little uncanny to me for some reason. I guess it's because it's their characters that I've become so close with in terms of watching them for the last 10 years that them going another way and like trying to have a different look or design just feels weird to me right now. But that's probably something that I'll lose 10 hours into the game.
Yeah,
probably. It'll just be the new that version of those characters for you.
Yeah, Hulk's great. Hulk looked great. I'm excited.
Hulk doesn't change a whole lot.
Hulk great. Hulk played well. I'm probably gonna have a lot of fun. Just like, all right, I'm just gonna fuck shit up. Switch over to Hulk.
I feel like the Hulk looks a lot like Hulk from the movies is the reason.
Yeah.
And I mean that's just like it's a CGI character there and you get a CGI character here kind of thing, you know? But when you take like all Black Widow, well, she kind of looks like Black Widow from the movies, but they can't use her likeness probably without going into a whole bunch of stuff, so we got to change her up a little bit. And I'm like, well,
like right now it feels like it's like, War Machine got recasted for the second movie, but if you recasted him for like from like an Endgame, it's like that's gonna feel weird.
How about
You know?
How about Kamala?
Yeah, I mean, seems. I mean, because I have no reference for that, I just buy it. She
Yeah.
seems to look the best for me here. Yeah, other than Hulk, maybe.
I think if you look at her, Hulk, and like Iron Man in his suit,
Yeah.
like you can just be like, okay, well, those don't bother
Sure.
me. But it's more like Black Widow and Thor. You're like, well, seeing their
Yeah.
faces and relating it to what I've seen in the movies, it feels weird to me. But that's easily a thing that I think you can get
Sure.
past after a while.
Yeah.
Rick, did you have any final thoughts on anything?
Well, it's co-op and superheroes, which is exciting. So I'm hoping that one, that there's local co-op, and two, that you can have like different difficulty levels per player. So maybe like this is something that Evie and I could play through together. It doesn't, it hasn't really sold me yet as the kind of thing that maybe I would go out and do on my own. But she loves these kind of things, so if that is an option, it's something I'll probably check out.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for this. Thank you so much for joining us.